Hey everybody, I'm Laura Berman Fortgang, and we are now looking at, my gosh, it's December 30th, tomorrow's New Year's Eve, and we get another 5-day weekend or 4-day weekend or whatever it is. I don't even know what day it is, but I have been enjoying having some time off with the family and hanging around. So look, last week we did a session on some tips on New Year's resolutions and why they don't work and what to do instead. And we had so much to talk about. I'm coming back here today with part 2. So if you missed that, go find the video, my Facebook page, the Facebook group, which is the Now What Career Clarity and Direction community, or on YouTube. And you can see part 1. So we're not going to repeat that. Hey, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, if you comment, letting StreamYard allow you to comment, because that way I can see your name. Otherwise, I can't, but that's fine. And I'll answer any questions as we go if anyone has any. Oh, hi, Sandy. Hi. So we will also, I'm going to give away some stuff. If you're new to me, you probably don't know that I have a workbook called the Best Year Ever Workbook. And some of you are already working with me on stuff, which is great. But I'm going to raffle off 2 of those tonight. So stick around because it happens at the end. And we're just going to be here for a little bit, depending if you guys have some questions or not. All right. So we left off with 5 tips. I have 5 more. So New Year's resolutions, I don't, we just have that lovely tradition. And last week, I asked people, what could be something new we can call these? Because resolutions are passe. Like, we know they don't really work, but we all like kind of resetting and starting over, and that can happen at any time. You can restart any hour of the day, but we like to do that at the new year. So someone suggested priorities. So let's call them priorities. I like that. And my work over the years has taught me that you really can only have 3 major priorities at once, or else you start spinning out because you have the rest of your life to deal with too, the millions of pieces in your personal jigsaw puzzle. So great idea. Call them priorities, call them whatever you want. I call them promises I'm going to keep to myself. So here are some things that will help you keep those promises. We left off last time, and this time I want to point out that sometimes why resolutions, priorities, whatever, don't get your attention, or that they fall apart after time, because 23% of people give up in a week and 45% by the end of January, or the end of that 1 month, whenever you started, is because we actually get too obsessed with the goal. Like, we get so obsessed with this thing that we want to do that we actually, hey, Paula, and Facebook user, whoever you are, we actually get so obsessed that we start ignoring the people in our life, ignoring work, ignoring our health, or whatever the case may be. So we actually can go overboard, and going overboard is one way that we can just screw up the whole thing. Humans, we're so complicated. All right, so here's another thing that you might like. Hi, Kathy. Structure is so important. So what does structure mean? I work with a lot of people who are figuring out what to do with their life. And sometimes, that might be someone who just took a package from work, or unfortunately, in these COVID times, people are being laid off and sidelined. And for a while, you think this is great. New Year's intentions. I got that. This is great. I get a little break. Okay, I'll worry about it later. But what people find is that the house of cards, like the delicate balance, starts to fall in on itself. Why? Because you don't have a structure anymore. You don't have a time you have to get up. You don't have a time that you have to be at a meeting. You don't have anything to look forward to. You start losing your sense of purpose. So structure is really important to whatever you decide is going to be your New Year's intention or priority, is to give it a structure, meaning put it on the schedule, give it a time, do it first if it's something hard. People know that I've written several books, and I've written books from having no children to having 3 children. So I kind of like, people ask me like, how did you do it? And at one point, the only time I could find to write my book was from 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. every day. I know that sounds crazy, and at my age now, I would never do that. But at the time, that was exactly the right solution. But that was the structure, right? Do it before anyone woke up. Then, edit later in the day or edit the next day. So really important is to have a structure for this new intention. And along with structure, you might put in some accountability. So what's accountability? Someone who holds you responsible and accountable to that goal. So it could be a buddy, you could hire a coach, some people might have a fitness trainer, whatever the case may be. You want accountability. You want to be able to tell on yourself, right, that you did it or didn't do it. Especially if we're not good at being accountable to ourselves and keeping those promises. So that's 2. What else do I want you to know? It's actually 3. All right, here's something that makes things fall apart. Consistency. Like, you have to have consistency, right? So, for example, I joined an online exercise program in June after I gained the COVID-19, and I was like, okay, it's time to get off the couch and do something. So I joined this thing where every day, there was a workout at a certain time, and I took consistent action. Like, I decided I'm going to be consistent. Like, I'm not going to worry about the outcome or how much weight I lost or whatever, but I wanted to just be consistent, keep that promise of 30 minutes 5 times a week. And I went from, having lost a lot of muscle mass to being like, having muscle again. So consistency got me a result. And sometimes it takes just forcing yourself to do that thing day after day. Just be consistent. Just keep the promise. And stop measuring every day for the result and just measure yourself on being consistent. And over time, you've got something. So, for example, when I'm working with clients and they're trying to make a career transition, and we've discovered what it is and they have a strategy and we're ending up our working together and they're going to go out on their own, I just remind them that one thing a day towards the dream, one thing a day is enough to actually make something happen when you're consistent, right? So consistency is key. Not like I'll do it on Mondays and then I'm just going to let, my days go by and the rest of it be horrible. So last point that I have for you, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Really, really important. We sometimes fall off the wagon with our intentions, priorities, New Year's resolutions, whatever we're calling them, because we don't give ourselves credit for the small victories, right? So a small victory is even that you showed up. A small victory is that, like I said, the consistency. A small victory, if I know weight loss is such a popular goal, right? So like, okay, you may not have hit the number that you want on the scale, but a small victory is that, wow, those pants that were too tight last week can fit now. Small victory. Small victory can be saying no to something. A small victory could be, all right, so I didn't write a chapter today, but I wrote 500 words. Small victory. I'll take it. So celebrating the small victories keep you going. One of the early things I learned from my coaching mentor, Thomas Leonard, was success breeds success. So even if you give yourself a little success, it keeps you in the mood to have more. All right. So what's on your mind, folks? Anyone have anything they want to ask about? Are you a New Year's resolution person? Are you not? I don't know if I don't really look at it as resolutions, but I always like to enter a year with a clean slate, meaning the office organized, any things that I've been tolerating for a long time, figured out and done with, and just sort of like complete the year, be complete. What do you need to do to just finish? Because it's that feeling of success that comes with finishing. All right. We're quiet today, but I'm glad you're here. So what else do I want to tell you? All right, I guess I'll tell you how to win these 2 workbooks then, and we'll just keep it a short little time together. All right, so let me post this. All right, so my best year ever workbook is a compilation of some of my best exercises, stuff that I've done with clients, and it's just a great thing to sit down with at the beginning of the year, have a visit with yourself. And I'm going to give away 2. One I'm going to give away. Oh, wait, we have a question. Oh, good. Interrupting our contest. Question. Big deal. Making the 5-day online event before this. I raced home the last to make. For me, this was big, but I was off that week. Was it bad? I just told my job I cannot go into New York City at the current rate and take me off the schedule so I can focus this on other things. Oh, I'm thinking to tell you that's bad. That's awesome. Yeah, Sandy just did a 5-day free event that we had in the Facebook group for people finding career clarity. And she made a huge commitment to herself or be there. And now she's in our bigger program. And we'll be working together through March. And she just said, take me off the schedule. I'm going to focus on this. I think it's really important to get rid of distractions. We talked about that last week. Like, how do you get rid of the distractions to something you really need to get done or care about deeply? So yay for you. I mean, you're making a commitment. You're putting a stake in the ground. I think it's great, Sandy. Someone else? Paula, I'm focusing on finding a job. Yeah, let me say a little bit about that. It's such a hard, weird world right now, as people aren't even in the office. They take forever to, find your resume, read stuff, get interviews going. But we're using Zoom, of course. But it's a great time to be just buckle down and be focused about this. I've been saying this for the last several weeks because we had this career clarity event that I'm telling you about, that this is the time to keep taking action. Just when we think like, oh, it could be hopeless. We don't know. We don't know what's happening with COVID. We don't know when we'll be back to work, who's hiring, who's not. All these multi-million-dollar companies, making loads of money, but not hiring people back. Don't listen to any of it. You have to keep your energy up and your focus up and keep sending out those resumes. But networking is really important. And yes, you can network from home through Zoom. Everybody knows somebody else. So just sort of like following the breadcrumbs through the forest, right? And stay on it. But I applaud you, Paula, and stay focused. And, you don't have to fill an 8-hour day when you're doing a job search. You can just say to yourself, okay, so the first 2 hours of the day, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. And there's a structure. There's a structure right there. We were talking about structure. Thanks for that, Paula. I've got an interview at Civil Services Finance Department. I remember your TED Talk. And if they offer me the job, I will take it, but keep exploring because I feel I need more creativity around me in the workplace. Great. Thank you for being a TED Talk viewer. I would say that I totally understand having to take a job, even when you might keep looking, especially at this strange time in our world. And I'd say, check out as much as you can about the culture if you can in your interview. There's a way to do that without seeming like you're, more worried about your needs than theirs. But you can say, tell me what it's like to work here. Tell me about your culture here. And you may be surprised to find that there's more to it than in terms of a match for you. But don't be afraid to ask those questions during an interview. When they say, well, you have any questions for us? Don't ask like what time lunch is and do they pay for water, but you can certainly ask about culture and, what that person enjoys about working there might give you some insight. That's terrific. Someone's looking into grad schools. Awesome. Yeah, it's a great time to invest in yourself if you can. And I'm doing a lot of networking, Paula. Good. Great job. Awesome. All right. So I was just about to give away those workbooks. So I'll go back to those. All right. So if you don't win one, this is where you can find them. All right. This is what we're going to do. I'm assuming that you are on Instagram, and this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to be fair to people who are new to me on Instagram, and I'll be fair to people who already follow me on Instagram. So I'm going to give away 2 Best Year Ever workbooks. They're valued at $29.99. They're like having a little mini course from me to give you some focus and clarity and structure for your new year. So this is how we're going to do it. You'll hear from me tonight. I'll ask through DM, I'll ask for your address as to where we can send these to you. So one will go to the fifth person who follows me tonight at Laura B. Fortgang on Instagram. So if you're new to me and you're the 5th follower tonight, and I can see that, I will send you a workbook. And if you are someone who already follows me on Instagram, if you're the 5th commenter on my most current post, which has a cup of coffee and mittens and this live tonight, if you're the 5th commenter, new comment, because I know some people already commented, I will also send you a workbook. So how's that? Does that sound like fun? It's fun for me. I like giving stuff away. How do you win a workbook if you're not on Instagram? That's the rules of the game today. Join Instagram. Come on. But you can check them out here or here. And next time when I do another live, we won't do an Instagram giveaway. We'll do a different kind of giveaway. All right, folks. This is just a little bit of tips. Create a structure. Keep promises to yourself. Don't let the resolution rule your life to the exclusion of all other people and things that are important to you. But like our person said, who they are actually getting off their work schedule in the city so that they can have more time to focus on what they're up to. Making it a priority is great, and take consistent action and celebrate the small victories. And accountability is important. You know, I have been very much into celebrating the small victories. I am a recovering perfectionist, right? I have been a recovering perfectionist my whole life, and perfectionists will tend to be very hard on themselves. So you're like, yeah, well, whatever. So, so I've written 5 books. Who cares? That's not the greatest. I'll do something else. So if you don't give yourself enough credit, you want to give yourself more credit as a way to get what you want. And now let me just say a few words about 2020 and 2021, and then we'll call it a night. But I know this was a very rough year. I know this was so much uncertainty for so many people, a lot of bad things for a lot of people. Maybe you were sick, maybe you were scared about being sick, maybe someone that passed away, maybe just watching how much we've had the loss of life during this time, money concerns, just seeing on TV how many people need food. This shouldn't be happening in the United States of America. It's a tough time. And a new year gives us another opportunity to have hope. And that's really all we ever really want, right? Is to always feel like there's a sunnier horizon over the bend. And I really do believe there is. I think that we do that by trying to stick with what we can control and a lot of gratitude. I, as also beyond being a recovering perfectionist, I've always been a worrier. So but I've also taught myself to have peace, even as a worrier, that they actually say that worriers are pretty healthy because you think of the worst case scenario, you kind of have a plan, and then you're like, okay, I'm fine, right? Because you have a plan. So that's what I'd say about 2021. Expect the best. Prepare for the worst. And I mean that not in an alarmist sense, but like if you're someone like me who worries about stuff, okay, so be semi-prepared. Where would we go if there was a weather event? Where would we go if we could not get into a certain medical center because of everything that's going on now? How would we take care of ourselves? And just having a basic idea of what you would do helps you come back to the present. And really, that's all we can do. Deal with what's in front of us, right? So when we worry, it's either about the past or it's about the future. So let's be here now. And I'm here, and I'll keep showing up live places and be here to support in whichever way I can. So I thank you all for being here. I wish you a very happy new year. I hope you have a soulful time tomorrow night as we cross over into a new year and a new decade, right? Oh my, well, no, it's yeah, kind of. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I'm wishing you all good things. And I think together we can make it happen. So thanks for being here tonight, and have a good one. And I'll see you probably in the new year. Take care.